Peace and black power, peace and black power, peace and black power. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism, King Kong Consciousness. Got about an hour before I have to go into a meeting. I'm down here, waterfront, slave landing, so-called city of brotherly love, quickly turning into the city of killers and thugs. Too much violence here in the hometown of Philadelphia. Brothers and sisters, brothers and sisters, brothers and sisters. Everyone has been blowing me up, asking me to speak on the Who Killed Malcolm X Netflix documentary. I've been getting inboxed like crazy, text messages like crazy, emails like crazy, voicemails like crazy. What does the Prince of Pan-Africanism have to say about Who Killed Malcolm X Netflix documentary? What do I think? First, I thought it was a pretty good documentary, but as someone who was intimately connected with the affairs of El Hajj Malik El Shabazz Malcolm X, his history, his life, his assassination, Malcolm have always been a hero of mine since I was a young child. As someone connected to the story and legacy of Malcolm, there was a lot left out of the documentary. And I believe that the good brother who produced the documentary left out certain facts on purpose so as to not cause controversy within the community. I can understand. I can understand. Netflix may have not even picked up the documentary had he told all of the truth. He gave you about 40%, 50% of the truth. But there was a lot that was left out in the documentary. The last two episodes for me were the most riveting, were the most relevant, were the most important for me. Not because of its indictment of any particular leader or organization, but because of its indictment of the black community as a whole. What the last two episodes of the Who Killed Malcolm X documentary shows, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is that black people have lost our integrity. We have lost our sense of honor. I have said this before. I have said this before. How many times have you heard me say that black people do not have a problem with racism? We do not have a problem with oppression. We have a problem with the position and the occupation that racism has given us. Time and time again, you see when black people are given an opportunity to improve their personal position in white supremacy's power structure, they stop fighting for the people. You have seen this. You've seen it with Jesse Jackson. You've seen it with Al Sharpton. You've seen it with countless other leaders, living and deceased, who claim to be about the people. But the minute they get a certain position, certain job, certain level of comfort, they abandon the struggle. That speaks to our lack of honor and our lack of integrity as a people. The fact that one of our greatest leaders in modern history could be murdered, and to have the person who took their life protected by the black community, honored by the black community, speaks to us as a people. It is not just about the community that was highlighted in the documentary. It's not just about them. All of us are guilty of this. How many of us have been in organizations? How many of us have been in organizations where somebody did something wrong? How many of us have been in organizations where somebody did something wrong, and because of who they were related to, because of who they were associated with, because of the money they had or the influence they had, what they did was swept under the rug? How many of us have seen this? You see it every day. You see it every day. You see it every day. The documentary highlighted an egregious example of this. The documentary highlighted a very critical example of this. But for me, if you only focus on that killer, that community, this particular hero, El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, you miss the totality of the message and the lesson in that documentary. This was not just about Malcolm. This was not just about Newark, New Jersey. And I love Newark, New Jersey, and Newark, New Jersey loves Dr. Umar Johnson. I ain't got no issues with Newark. You understand me? It is not just about those particular Sunni Islamic Muslim leaders and community. It's not just about them. Don't make this about one man. Don't make this about one city. Don't make this about one community. It's not about them. This happens in the black community all the time. The only reason why this is being highlighted is because it was Malcolm. The only reason why this is being highlighted is because this is Malcolm. The only reason why this is being highlighted is because it was Malcolm. I have seen dirt get done against decent people in conscious black organizations all my life. I have seen dirt get done against decent people in conscious organizations my whole life. I've seen entire organizations turn against a good person because of their relationship with a not so good person. I've seen an entire organization, I've seen this multiple times, turn against a good person. Block party is in effect. We always having a block party. We always having a block party, brothers and sisters. We always having a block party. I want you to bring me some chicken wings. Honey Chipotle chicken wings, my brother, for the block party. Let's see who else want to go to the block party. So, for me, the Netflix documentary demands a community conversation about how we as a people have become a nation of hypocrites. Black America is a nation of hypocrites. Black America is a nation of hypocrites. Hypocrites. Black America is a nation of hypocrites. How are we going to beg of the white man to practice justice and equality with us when we don't practice justice and equality with one another? How are we going to beg of the white man to practice justice and equality with us when we don't practice justice and equality with each other? How many of us go to black churches, medium and large black churches who don't do anything of significance for the community with the money that we give them, but we keep on going, acting like we serving Jesus when all we're serving is the financial agenda of the pastor. How many of us go to church every Sunday? Give our money to a church every Sunday. And that church does absolutely nothing to improve the quality of life for black people. We are a nation of hypocrites. How many of us vote for people on election day who have a history of doing nothing for black people? How many of us remain friends with people who have done dirt, but we ignore their dirt because we are friends with them? We are a nation of hypocrites. That's what we are. That's what we are. How many of us will act like we support Dr. Umar Johnson and the education of black boys and the destruction of the school to prison pipeline, but then right after we get finished supporting Dr. Umar, we go right to YouTube and support Dr. Umar's haters? We are a nation of hypocrites. That's what we are. And what the Malcolm X documentary showed me, because the information was not new to me. Maybe 10% of what I learned was new. And as I said, most of the information was left out. I feel sorry for the brother who spent 20 years in jail for a crime he did not commit, while other black people who knew he was innocent did absolutely nothing to try to exonerate the brother. I feel sorry for the brother who spent 20 years in jail for a crime he did not commit, while other black people sat by and did absolutely nothing. Knew he was innocent. So you got people who knew he was innocent, did nothing to help him get out. You had other people who knew this other one was guilty and did absolutely nothing to bring him to justice for killing a man with 6 daughters and a wife. Blew him away in front of 4 daughters, 2 yet to be born, and a wife. So what the documentary showed me, what the Netflix documentary showed me, was that it reminded me of what I've already known. Dr. Umar, if you're going to give your life to black folks, you better make damn sure you are doing this out of dedication to the Creator in service to your people. When you do this work, those of us who are sincere, I'm not talking about YouTube video makers. That's not activism. That's not struggle. That's not consciousness. That's just entertainment. YouTube revolutionaries do not qualify as activists in my book. YouTube revolution is not a form of revolution. YouTube activism is not a form of activism. But for those of us who really do this work, for those of us who really do this work with the purest of intentions, with the purest of intentions, with the pure block party, bring me some ginger ale, brother. Bring me some ginger ale. I don't like Canada Dry. Bring me some ginger ale, Sweeps or Seagrams. That's the only ginger ale. Sweeps or Seagrams. Shout out to Detroit, but that Vernon's ginger ale is garbage. Shout out to Detroit. I will see you February 27th, but that Vernon's ginger ale is garbage. Shout out to Detroit. I will see you on February 27th, but that Vernon's ginger ale is garbage. Getting back to the point, this documentary reminded me that when you do this work, you do it purely out of dedication to the community and service to your race. Dedication to the Most High God and service to your race. Because when you die, your community will paint a mural, they will cross your name out, and they will keep on going. They will paint a mural, they will name a street after you, they will cross your name out, and they will keep on going. That's what they did to Malcolm. That's what they did to King. That's what they did to Mega. That's what they did to Fred Hampton. That's all you get. You get a mural and a street dedication. But what you gave your life to stops. They are not going to pick up where you left off and keep on going. They are not going to do that. They are not going to pick up where you left off and keep on going. They are not going to do that. They are not going to do that. They will honor you in the moment, but the work that you gave your life to, they will not pick it up and keep carrying it out. They will not do that. Everybody knew Malcolm was in trouble, and very few people lifted a hand to help him. They knew he was in trouble, and nobody would come to that brother's aid. A wife, 4 babies, 2 on the way. The Malcolm situation shows you how we leave our freedom fighters out in the cold. It hurts me to watch it because everybody knew what was coming and nobody did anything to protect that brother's life. Nobody did it. We do this work with the purest of intentions because it is the work that we are supposed to do. Speaking of that, stop asking me to speak on Dwayne Wade's son. Stop asking me to speak on Dwayne Wade's son. Stop asking me to speak on Dwayne Wade's son. Y'all know my position on that orientation. Y'all know my position on that weapon of mass destruction. Y'all know my position on the psychological, psychosexual manipulation of black boys. Y'all know my position, but I'm not going to speak on that brother's son because I think some things have to be off limits. I'm not going to talk about that man and his son. I live my life based on principles, not personal assessments. I don't have to talk about a personal case. We don't have to do a case study on Dwayne Wade and his son. There's no need for a case study when you understand the principles. When you understand the principles of revolutionary Pan-African nationalism. When you understand the principles of revolutionary Pan-African nationalism, you don't have to do no case studies. The principle applies to everybody. The principle applies to everybody. Nothing good is going to come from the psychosexual manipulation of black boys, but the extermination of black people. We don't have to discuss him and his son because you know the principle. The principle is simple. The United States government is carrying out a deliberate campaign of psychological terrorism in the form of psychosexual manipulation of black male identity in the interest of black extermination. That's what it is. I'm not going to talk about that man and his son. Some things have to be off limits, brothers and sisters. And talking about people's children is off limits. It's off limits. It's off limits. But the documentary reminded me. I'm watching Malcolm and I'm saying to myself, this hurts. This hurts. This hurts. And let me say this. If you scared to stand up to black folks, you damn sure will be scared to stand up to white folks. If you are scared to stand up to black folks, you damn sure will be scared to stand up to white folks. If you are scared to stand up to black folks, you are definitely scared of standing up to white folks. If you scared of coons, you damn sure scared of Caucasians. If you are scared of coons, you are damn sure scared of Caucasians. You want to know the dates for the Black Parent Training Tour? I'll give them to you, then I'm going to take questions. Then I'm going to take some questions. Do I think Malcolm should have kept his inner circle smaller? I mean, how small can it get? He only had a few people that trusted him in the first place, Malcolm's circle was already as small as it could get. Black parent trainings. New Orleans has been completed. Washington, D.C. Louisiana has been completed. Washington, D.C. has been completed. New York, Bronx, Harlem, Boogie Down, Queens, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Syracuse, Rochester, Albany. Your training will be in White Plains the last day of this month. Your training will be in White Plains the last day of this month, Saturday, February the 29th at the Thomas H. Slater Center. Get your tickets right now. I'm only doing this one time. 2020 is the year of the educated black parent. 2020 is the year of the educated black parent. I'm only doing this tour one time. One and done. I don't want to hear no excuses when it's over. If you too lazy to get the training to save your children, that's on you. It is not on me. New York's training will be February the 29th in White Plains, New York. California's training will be March the 7th in Los Angeles. Oklahoma's training will be March the 21st in Oklahoma City. North Carolina's training will be on March the 28th in Charlotte. Connecticut's training will be April the 11th in New Haven. Mississippi's training will be April the 18th in Ocean Springs. Texas training will be in Dallas on May the 2nd. Pennsylvania's training will be on June the 6th in Pittsburgh. Minnesota's training will be on June the 27th in Minneapolis. Indiana's training will be on August the 15th in Indianapolis. Florida's training will be September the 5th in Sanford. Illinois' training will be September the 12th in Chicago. I will not be streaming the training. The information is too sensitive. Get off your lazy behind and go to a training. You cannot live your life on the internet, and you cannot live your life on your cell phone. Get off your lazy backside and go to a training. You can go to any training you want. You do not have to go to the training in your state. You can go to any training. We only have 15 trainings, so most of you will have to go to another state for your training. We only have 15 trainings, so most of you will have to go to another state for your training. There is a discount for groups of 12 or more. There is a discount for groups of 12 or more. If you're bringing 12 or more people, email Dr. Umar Johnson at yahoo.com. If you're bringing 12 or more, email Dr. Umar Johnson at yahoo.com for a discount. I recommend If you don't live near the training, take a bus. Rent a bus, get a van, find other parents, make it a day trip. Get a bus, get a van, find other parents in your state, make it a day trip. Find a bus, find a van, get other parents, and make it a day trip. $50 per person. $50 per person. No live streaming, lazy Africans. No live streaming. Live and in your face is what we do. Live and in your face is what we do. Did Malcolm X do live streams? Did Marcus Garvey do live streams? Did H. Rap Brown do live streams? Did Harriet Tubman do live streams? Did Stokely Carmichael do live streams? Did Ella Baker do live streams? Did Medgar Evers do live streams? I'm not doing no damn live stream. I'm live and in person. I am live and in person. We're going to teach you how to read the IEP. We're going to teach you how to read a psychological evaluation. We're going to teach you the major federal laws. We're going to teach you the Civil Rights Act educational amendments. We're going to teach you how to write a letter to the schools. We're going to teach you about the 13 disabilities. We're going to teach you about the ADHD and the conduct disorder. We're going to teach you what the approved private school is. We're going to teach you your FERPA laws. We're going to teach you 504. We're going to teach you everything you need to know. Block party. Bring me some seafood. Hold on, wrong person. Block party. Bring me some seafood salad to the block party, my brother. Bring me some seafood salad to the block party. It's time to tap in. You got a question, go. My next public speaking event will be in Detroit, Michigan, February the 27th. My next public speaking event will be in Detroit, Michigan, February the 27th. Tap in if you got a question. Now is the time to tap in. Angola is coming up. Amsterdam, South Africa, Bermuda, Angola, South Africa, Amsterdam. My next 4 international engagements. Bermuda, South Africa, Angola, and Amsterdam. FDMGresumes@gmail.com. FDMGresumes. Peace and love, black man. Where you at in the world?
I'm in Palm Beach, Florida, Dr. Umar.
Palm Beach, Florida. My brother will be in Sanford for the Black Parent Training September.
Okay, you kind of it's kind of freezing on my end. Hello? In Doc.
I'm sorry, brother. Tap back in, Ezra. Tap back in. One of us had a Wi-Fi problem. Tap back in, my brother. Tap back in, my brother. Y'all got to stop leaving me voicemails asking me to call you back. Tell me what you want. I don't call people back. Tell me what you want. I will never call you back if you don't tell me what you want. There we go. Brother Ezra, you back with me?
Yes,
Brother
sir.
Ezra.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Talk to me, beloved.
Yes, sir. What do you think about the like Africans here in America, like going back to Africa? Because I was planning on doing that within the next like 3 to 5 years, And I want to know what you think, because I remember they said the greatest threat to America is that African Americans and Africans start linking back. And I wanted to, like, you know, reconnect with the people over there. So what you think about that whole going back to Africa, moving over there movement?
I think it's a very, very good, viable option for you and for us as a people. In my future vision, God willing, for myself, I want to spend half the year in America running FDMG Delaware, and the other half of the year in Africa running FDMG Ghana or FDMG Nigeria. So I definitely like the idea. It's a lot more opportunity in Africa for us than it is here in America. You can get quite wealthy in Africa operating small businesses that in America may only allow you to get by with paying your bills and taking care of your family. So I definitely encourage anyone who's going to the continent, go to the continent, but please go with a strong, solid business plan and business vision, because you don't go to Africa looking for a job. There's no job for you there. You must bring the job. You must bring the business. You must bring the opportunity. And given the exchange rate of American currency in Africa, okay, given, unfortunately, due to the devaluation of African currency, your US dollar will go a lot further in the continent. So one US dollar is what? 25 Ethiopian dollars. It's like what? 12 Nigerian dollars. So your money can go so much further. You get over there, you build you a house, you start your business. I know for me, education is very big in Africa. Education is very big in Africa. So I can't wait to get over there and open up a school for our young people. But almost any business you can think of, if it'll be successful in America, it'll be successful in Africa. And one of the biggest needs of Africa, in addition to education, is logistics. Logistics. Truck driving in Africa. The ability to transport goods from one country to another or one place in the city to another. The Chinese. What is the #1 service that the Chinese are providing in Africa? Logistics. The Chinese are trying to monopolize the logistics business on the continent. They want to totally control how resources get from one place to another place. Brother, you show up in Africa with a rig, you show up in Africa with one truck, my brother, and you'll probably be a millionaire within a year.
Oh, that's great, because I was planning on doing that over here. I have a friend who does that over here, and I was going to do that within the next year. So he makes off of one truck. He'll make like 50 to 60 a year. That's like after overhead and off that. So if I go over there and do that, that'd be cool. And then I know me personally, I care about the people over there, because I remember you saying that like police not going to touch an Arabian person or somebody from the Middle East, because they know they got people back home who say, hey, y'all touch one of our kids, we gonna cut the oil. If you touch a Chinese kid, the Chinese people gonna cut, you know, they're gonna be like, nah, you ain't touching one of ours. So I feel like if I go over there, start businesses and help them build themselves up, they can have our backs, you know, when we're over here if something happens. You feel me?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, my brother, and this is part of my long-term vision, I haven't shared it with nobody, but I'll share it now. Once we get FDMG Delaware up and running, once we get the small school up and running, we're going to fundraise again. We're going to keep it going for FDMG Africa. So once the school is up, the fundraiser is not going to stop. We're going to keep the fundraiser going for FDMG Africa, because once we got Delaware up and operational, and I'm still hoping that will be operational by this summer for a grand opening, we're going to keep on fundraising, not only for the operations of FDMG Delaware, but also for the groundbreaking of FDMG Ghana. I was given 50 acres of very good land in Ghana, right by the ocean. We are literally right by the ocean in Ghana, and I want to build a school there, which is going to be a lot cheaper than it costs to renovate the school here. The school we're going to build in Ghana is going to be much cheaper than it costs us to renovate the school in Delaware. So we're going to keep on going. And soon when we got FDMG Delaware, we're going to start working on FDMG Ghana. So that's what we're working on, brother. So that's already in the vision. And what I want to do is crowdfund enough. I want to crowdfund enough to send 6 brothers and 6 sisters, 6 brothers and 6 sisters to Ghana. And I'm going to set them up over there. They're going to be my eyes and ears. They're going to be the diplomats, the ambassadors for the Team Pan-African movement. They're going to be the ambassadors for the Team Pan-African movement, and they will lay the groundwork because I have, you know, things to do in America. They will be able to lay the groundwork, and they will carry out my agenda, our agenda, to build that Black Wall Street, West Africa, with FDMG as the center. They will be able to do that in Africa while I'm in America visiting periodically. So that's why I'm always watching. I'm always studying, brothers and sisters. I'm always out. I'm always fishing, my brother. I'm always fishing for good people, because one thing this movement has taught me, okay, is that most of the people who come to you will be of no use for you. Most of the people I have met in these 20 years, since I started community organizing when I graduated from Millersville University with my master's in school psychology, August the 19th of 2000. In these 20 years, most of the people I've met have been no use to me. Most people come to me because I can do something for them. Very few people come to me so they can help me do something for us. I'm looking for people who are coming to me to help me do work for us, because I have all kind of visions and ideas in relationships, man. You got to realize I probably have a greater international network than any other African in America, any American African, not including our immigrant brothers and sisters. You follow me? So I have connections to Australia, connections to Caribbean. I'm connected all over. We just need the financial resources and the human resources. And by the human resources, I'm talking about the right people. By human resources, I'm talking about the right people, because I'm struggling for both the financial resources and the human resources. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. I don't want to take up all your time. I could ask you a million questions, but I will say, like you was talking about having people, like 6 people over there being your eyes and ears. And I remember you talking about here recently, you was talking about having the secretaries. And
yes.
Before that, even before that, you said I know it was pressing on your heart. You said, man, a lot of times we'll have Black leaders, but they'll kill the leader and there's nobody to pick up the torch or whatever. Yes. And you was talking about training people, like there was going to be like a training a weekend or something every month of the year. And I wanted to get into that, but I didn't at the time. I didn't have the means to do that. Yes. But when I do finally, like, I'll be established by the end of this time next year. I'll be established. But I do want to, I want to help you, but for more than that, I want to help the movement, because I'm tired of seeing, our brothers and sisters struggling. Like, we don't, you know what it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, my brother. Stay in touch with me, God. Stay in touch with me. You have my number, right?
No, sir, I do not.
Let me give it to you. You got a pen?
I have. Give me 1 sec. Yeah, I'm right here. Let's go.
215.
All right.
989.
989.
9858.
9858. Okay.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Stay in touch with me, bro.
I will most definitely get in touch with you. I'm always up to date with the movement, and I'm still, sending in donations. You have a Cash App, right?
Yes, sir. We still got the Cash App, $ FDMG School. Yes, sir.
Okay, I got you. All right, son.
All right, brother. Be blessed.
All right, you too.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Same old number. Top slap, bro. You want to get blocked? Was that a joke or what? You want to go to the block party? It's all up to you, my brother. It's all up to you. All right? Go ahead and tap in. Tap in. Sister Marie going once. Mama Marie or I am Mama Marie. Wait.
Hey, A.
How we
Marie.
doing? A. Marie, I got you. How you doing, gorgeous?
Good. Peace and love, my brother. Peace and love.
And where are you at?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
ATL. You know what? I'm shocked.
Why? What's
that I did not get a black parent training schedule in Georgia. I'm absolutely shocked.
I know. We really would have loved you down here. Seriously.
I'm shocked.
Seriously.
But you know, that was the people. They didn't push it. So, but what's on your mind today, beautiful?
Okay. So I am at Georgia State. I graduate this July.
What's your major?
My major is journalism and my minor is international business.
Excellent.
I respect everything that you do. And I feel like as long as we can become one with ourselves, the more allies that we have in different countries that we have, that'll be better for us to help better ourselves, you know, such as learning foreign languages, better businesses in other countries, all that good stuff. Because it's like what you said, they're coming over here with their personal line of credit, and we have no psychological connection with no other country, and we have no personal line of credit with another country. Absolutely. So basically, I'm starting my podcast next week. I'm very excited. But I do want to do more than just be a social media activist, like what you were saying. So what's the first step that you feel like me, for myself, as well as other brothers and sisters, need to do other than doing the social media thing? What's the first step?
The fact that you mentioned that you are a international business minor, is it?
Yes.
A very good project for you would be, and you can start with a couple countries, would be to reach out to both African countries, Caribbean countries, Central and South American countries where we dominate, like Brazil, right? Suriname, and find out how you can create a process for American Africans to start bank accounts and to invest, in different commodities in other African countries. That would be powerful. If you want to start a bank account in Ghana, this is what you do. You want to start a bank account in Brazil, this is what you do. You want to start a bank account in Jamaica, this is what you do.
Guess where I work?
Where you work?
At the bank.
Oh, well, look at that. So talk to your own bank and find out. Maybe they have branches in other countries, but you also want to, as much as possible, we want to support those indigenous black-owned banks, which are normally state operated. We want black banks, not the white banks. We don't want to empower them anymore. But that would be something very powerful for you, because a lot of us want to open up bank accounts and we want to invest in foreign African countries, but we don't have the how to.
Absolutely.
So with you being in that area, that would be something very powerful that you bring to the table. Very powerful.
I got accepted to study abroad in Panama and Costa Rica. So that's Central America. So I felt like we're going to be focusing on the Panama Canal and basically how all the goods are being transported through the canal and all that good stuff. So if we can just tie banking and transporting goods into all of like one business or opportunity or whatever for all of us, I feel like that'd be a great opportunity as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so basically, I'm just at the point, I have realized what I have to do for us. So, but I need to act on it rather than talk about it. So my goal for my brothers and sisters is to create our own community. Everything that you said is correct. Because I was thinking, I said, okay, this is what I said to myself on the way to class. I said, how are we going to get ourselves together? We need to have a civil war. But then it goes back to what you said. We can't have a civil war because the white man is in charge of the food, in charge of the weapons, in charge of the transportation. So how is that going to work? So I feel like my place in life is to get our community together so we can build our own community. We need to stop driving MARTA. Well, that's in Georgia, MARTA, the public transportation. We need to have our own public transportation, our own grocery stores, our own neighborhoods, our own banks. And we need to start personally in a small city or even in a country city, just to start somewhere. And I feel like we need to, instead of having instead of having one city, we need to do it all at one time, and boom, 10 cities, 10 communities, so we can multiply. If they want to come and bomb whatever they want to do and try to bring us down, it's not going to matter because we're going to already have backup. So I feel like we need to start founding ourselves and start doing everything for us, by us, including like every material business, every financial business, every educational business. And I definitely respect everything that everything that you're going to do with the schools for our young brothers and sisters, because basically I'm in college and I still don't know how to buy a house, still don't know what to do with my credit, still don't know what to do financially in life at all, because it's a generational curse on what they want us to learn.
Make sure you also take financial literacy courses as well.
But we have to do that ourselves. They're not going to put that in the curriculum for us, and it's hidden for us. I'm a senior about to graduate, and I still don't know what I need to know for life. So they're basically preparing us to be workers. They're not preparing us to be entrepreneurs.
True.
So basically, you answered my question. I feel I need to figure out where we need to be financially with banking and what we need to do. So my job right now is to focus on where we need to be financially with other countries. So boom, you answered the question.
Indeed. And once you start getting somewhere with that, you let me know.
I will, definitely.
I got connects where I can plug you into almost any country you want where we are in the majority. So
okay.
When you're ready for the connection piece, I got you on that. But just choose one, whether it's going to be the banking first, the investing, choose one. But even if you just get one company off the ground, that'd be powerful.
Perfect. And do you think I should focus on having one black bank? Like for example, Bank of America, that's one bank. So do you think I should focus on having a black Bank of America in each of those different countries? Is that where I could focus my banking towards?
Well, here's what I think would be the easiest way to get started.
Okay.
Find black-owned banks that already exist in those countries.
Okay.
And find out how you can create an opportunity for us to open up accounts or invest through those banks.
Okay. So yes, I'm writing this down.
Yeah, find the banks, black-owned banks in those countries, because even in Africa, most of the banks are not owned by black people; they're owned by white people. So you have a few black-owned banks. You want to find the black-owned banks. Okay, and then find out how we can invest through those black-owned banks. Like Nigeria has like the fastest growing economy in the world. So we could find a way to invest directly into Nigeria. That would be very powerful.
Okay, invested in Nigeria.
Nigeria, Ghana, Ethiopia, South Africa. Those are some of the fastest growing. Now, Ethiopia is the poorest of those four, but they are also on an upswing right now economically, so it'd be good for us to get in on the ground floor.
Okay. All right, so find black-owned banks and find out how we can finance with them, and
how to open accounts in those banks from America, and how we can invest through those banks from America.
Invest through those banks. Okay, perfect. That's the plan.
Got you. All right,
All
Queen.
right. Yes.
Stay blessed.
Thank you, King. Peace and blessings your way, okay? All right.
Yes, man. Take care. Now, when we talk about human resources, we're talking about finding black people who have the right mindset to get the work done. Because I'm going to tell you something. We are so petty. We are so petty. We are so conniving. We are so deceitful. We are so backstabbing as a people. The toughest thing to get is 12 black folk who are on the same page with the same level of commitment, same level of trust, same level of confidentiality to try to get the work done. Like in my experience, when it's women around, the first thing women, it's almost like their priority is to find out who you're sleeping with or who you're dating. Like that's the priority. It's not the work. The work is second. The first priority is to find out who is the leader sleeping with or interested in. You're supposed to come for the work, but that is not the priority. With the women, the first thing they got to find out is who got the drop on the leader amongst the females. I mean, And I've seen this not just with me. I've seen it with other men in power. I've seen it with elders as well as youth. Okay, that's not all women, but a lot of the sisters. My biggest concern about women in the struggle is not being preoccupied with romantic interests. My biggest challenge with what I've seen, again, I'm not just speaking from personal experience. I've seen it in my personal, but I'm speaking of more than 20 years, different organizations around the world. Okay, I've been on every continent except Australia, and it's the same thing everywhere you go. The women are preoccupied with who is dealing with the leader. So then the question becomes, is that always going to be the case? Is it always going to be the case that women in a movement are going to be preoccupied with who's dealing with the leader before they focus on the work? I've never came into an organization where I'm worrying about which guy is dating the finest woman. I've always came for the work. Now, she might be fine, and I might notice she's fine, but I'm not studying what guy is dealing with her. I'm not here for that. I'm here for the work. But I notice with our women, it's that catty. There's a preoccupation with relationships and not revolution. With a lot of women, I see a preoccupation with romance, not revolution. And with the brothers, it's a preoccupation with power. So with the women, they come into the organization and they immediately go to work on investigating who's dating the leader. That's the first thing they want to find out. Who got the drop on the leader? That's the first thing the women want to do, right? And then with the men, the first thing the men want to do is they want to create a secret power base. The brothers want to create a secret power base within your movement where they can influence other people to go against you if you don't give them a high enough position. Let me repeat that. And all of you have been organizers and leaders. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all know exactly. So with the women, it's romance. With the men, it's ego and power. With the women, it's romance and relationships. With the men, it's ego and power. So soon when the men come in, they start studying, how can I carve out a power base in this organization? The first thing the men think about is, how can I effect a coup d'etat? The first thing the brothers start worrying about, how can I effect a coup d'etat in case the leader doesn't give me the power position that I want? I need to know, how can I undermine this whole shit if I don't get what I want out of it? That's where the brothers are. That's where the brothers are. The women, it's about romance and relationship. And when you are a brother, who's serious about the work, you cannot let your second head take precedence over your first head. When you are a brother about this work, you cannot let your lower head take precedence over your top head. You cannot let your lower self take precedence over your divine self, because what women will do. I want my young brothers on the college campuses. I want my young brothers in the community organizing the young, attractive, charismatic brothers. You need to understand. Some women have a tactic. Some women have a tactic. This is why we have to be disciplined sexually. This is why we have to be disciplined sexually. This is why we have to be disciplined sexually. This is why you have to be black men. We have to be disciplined sexually because our women depend on us to not be disciplined sexually so they can try to manipulate the movement. Let me give y'all an example. 5 years ago, I met a woman at a Marcus Garvey celebration in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, hosted by the Bobo Shanti Rastafari movement. I met a sister at the Bobo Shanti Rastafari Marcus Garvey celebration in Fort Lauderdale, Florida in the summer of 2015. It was Marcus Garvey Day. August 17th, 2015, I met this woman. Spring of the next year, we saw each other 3 times. I saw this woman 3 times. I actually saw her on the same strip that I'm sitting on right now. But nonetheless, I met her Garvey Day 2015, and she told me she wanted me to help her start her homeschooling network. She wanted to start a national homeschooling network. And she came to Philadelphia. We linked up. I saw her 3 times within the same week. 3 times within the same week. About a month or 2 later, I was laying in my hotel in Birmingham, England, United Kingdom. I was the keynote speaker for the African Liberation Day, Birmingham 2015. I was laying down in my hotel, and she sent me a text message. She said, "You better call me or I'm going to expose you." This was what she said. "You better call me or I'm going to expose you." I said, "I don't know what you're going to expose, but you should go ahead and do it. Because one thing I don't do is I don't make deals based on character assassination. I don't make them kind of deals. Whatever you want to put out to the world, put it out to the world, right? Whatever you want to put out to the world, put out to the world." I'm going to tell y'all what I think provoked this. She had finally confessed that she had an alternative lifestyle, a different career. And when she came clean about her different career, I think she thought that I would judge her differently as a black queen. Now, when she told me about her different career, I'm not going to lie to you, it did ruffle my feathers a little bit because I don't know anything about that lifestyle. So it did catch me off guard. And so I had to take